Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Funny's local comedy showcase. I am Naomi Fitter, your host for the evening, and we have gathered here some of my favorite acts from around Oregon for a wonderful show, along with an awesome live studio audience. Maybe we can hear them.
Woo!
Hey, there! Thanks for tuning in. I'll kick the show off with some jokes myself. I'm in Oregon now, but I haven't always been here. I'm originally from Appalachia, so at this point, most people I graduated with have more kids than teeth. At my wedding, I was barefoot. Here's my bare wedding feet. I wasn't pregnant, though. The shotgun was purely ceremonial. You might see me wearing overalls and think I'm being fashionable and on trend, but that's just me sporting the cultural garb of my people. I didn't realize I was redneck growing up, but nowadays, when I think back to my childhood, all the signs were there. You had to be careful what time of day you drove on US Route 35 because you wanted to avoid the Walmart traffic. That's true. My prom date picked me up in a three-piece full suit with no sleeves. And there was cow tipping at my bat mitzvah.
No.
The tradition is that once the cow falls over, everyone shouts Mazel Tov. My parents know that's not true. But something that is true is that I spent the last summer in high school at the University of Rio Grande. That's not a mispronunciation. University of Rio Grande.
No.
Here's the elegant Bob Evans Farms Hall, where I took some classes.
Yeah, true.
And if you turn around from there, you can see Bob Evans Farms, home of sausage and incest. Very classy. Usually people who grow up where I did don't leave, but when they do escape, they go very, very far away. My home state of Ohio has given rise to more astronauts than any other state, which makes me wonder, what is it about Ohio that makes people so badly want to leave the planet? We've got some things going for us. Aeronautical aspirations are not Ohio's only export, though. We also have cows and tornadoes. Very proud. Actually, I was even born in a tornado. My parents were hiding in the basement, and all of a sudden my mother was like, "Oh my gosh, my water just broke." I was a problem child from the start. And my parents drove me to the hospital mid-tornado. I wasn't scared, though, because at the time, all I could see was placenta. That's a gross one. Sorry about that.
That was dirty.
At first, because of my origin story, I thought I would have like special tornado powers, like talking to storms or controlling the weather or blowing people really well. Serious business. But later, while I took high school physics, I realized that I was probably born then because there was low barometric pressure coming in with the storm or whatever, and that I wasn't a special person with tornado powers after all, and fellatio was just going to take some practice. Some people know about that. Being born in a tornado, though, wasn't all bad because due to that incoming low barometric pressure front, my mother's friend also gave birth to a child that day. My tornado twin, Jamie Rasmussen. And every year for our mutual birthday, we went to Chuck E. Cheese's to celebrate, which was pretty cute at like 3, 4, 9, 10. But when you're 21, they start looking at you differently.
Oh no.
This ultimately didn't stop me, though. You can see me right there. This was at my 26th birthday, and even more recently. You can see the ticket blaster over here on the side. Despite going there for 30 years, I still have never gotten any good prizes. My man type of preference is squishy, nerdy, pasty programmers. They like me too because I love computers. That was a candid shot. I truly fell asleep just like that. And in search of a suitable mate, a while ago I thought, these guys gather on the internet, I'll try online dating. And while preparing for my first OkCupid date, I got a call from the guy. He was like, I was really nervous to meet you, and I overdosed on anxiety medication. And now I'm in the hospital. These looks can kill. A sad but funny part for me is that after that, I dated him for a year and a half. I cut off his face for privacy. I tried J-Swipe, that's like the Jewish Tinder as well, but no luck there either. I was living in Ohio at the time, and my nearest match was 683 miles away. So in search of better odds, I decided to move out to Seattle to be closer to the mothership of the squishy, nerdy, pasty programmers, Microsoft. I practiced my nerdiest pickup lines, things like, I wish you were my derivative so you could lay tangent to my curves. Or, Newton was a fan of heavenly bodies in motion. Are you? Or even, hey boy, are you a 90-degree angle? 'Cause you're looking right. I found these lines too subtle, though. I had moved in with this guy, walked around his apartment in a bikini, and he still hadn't made any move. So I decided to try something more direct. Nice code. Want a screw? Nothing happened that night, but the next day he told me he liked me. 2 months later, we kissed for the very first time. And 2 years later, we took that next big step, merging video game collections. This guy, my now husband, is a research scientist. So every time we're done getting frisky, he gives me a survey. Did you enjoy your experience? What can we do to improve your experience next time? Would you recommend me to a friend? I'm still waiting to hear if I won that gift card. The surveys I don't mind so much, but the placebo sex I could do without. We had our first fight early on when he aggrandized how many women he had been with previously. He said it was 2, but it was really 1. And you might be excited about that, like, hey, that's half the chance of chlamydia, and he plays video games. He must be great with his hands. But it made me nervous. Lack of experience had turned out to be a big problem with my college boyfriend, when one day he was suddenly like, you know, I wonder what it would be like to hook up with someone besides you. I think we should call things off. I know it's sad, but it did give me confidence in the special version whisperer ability that I seem to possess. I am the best at picking up squishy, nerdy, pasty programmers and empowering them with the confidence to go out into the world and date other women. I still think about my ex sometimes. The part that sticks out the most is his dick.
Christ.
It's a topographical dick joke. I remember when I first developed a crush on him, it had been because I saw that his 4-bar linkage simulator was way better than anyone else's in our kinematics class. Later, when he ferried me across campus on a self-driving electric scooter that he'd built himself, I knew he was boyfriend material. And when things got a little more serious, he gave me the key to his heart, an actual metal key he had manufactured using computer numeric control milling.
Oh.
We got engaged in Vegas. When people say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, I didn't know they meant engagements too. But there's a silver lining and a weird twist. Given my dating pool of choice, I shouldn't have been surprised that in 2017, my husband unknowingly met my ex on the internet and started writing software with him. Here's their mutual GitHub repository. Husband, ex-fiance.
Oh.
It's true.
And it's true. I'll round out with this. I like my name a lot. My first name, it's Naomi. In Hebrew, it means pleasant, and in Japanese, it means above all beauty. You can probably tell that I was named for the Hebrew.
Oh.
You think I'm beautiful? That's nice. Thank you. My last name also has special significance. It means your grandparents didn't enunciate when they came through Ellis Island. It's a made-up name. And sometimes, since it's made up anyway, I think about changing it. I think about changing it to embargo. Because if my name were Naomi Fitter, then my full name read backwards would be, oh, grab me, I moan. That's absolutely true. You can work it out later. But it's time to get the show on the road. I'm so excited to bring up this next act, which is the Majestic Theater's house improv team. They perform all around Corvallis, even more places than now, when things are not all shut down because of a virus. So please give it up for Suggestions Only Improv and their valiant host, Dakota.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Naomi, for all of that. We are your local improv group. We used to just be secluded to bars and begging you for your attention, and now we've made it inside your home, so watch out for that. Some of you might be wondering, what is improv? Improv means that everything that we are about to do is going to be 100% made up on the spot. That's right. Unlike the stand-up, we didn't, take the time to think about what we were going to do. So we rely heavily on our live studio audience's suggestions. So periodically, I'll be coming out to our live studio audience in this call with us, and I'll ask them questions so that way we can get an idea of where to start for our scene. So studio audience, if I said, like, what's the weirdest animal you could farm? You would say?
Zebra.
Zebras.
Porcupine.
Porcupines would be a weird one. I think you'd get poked a lot, and not in a good way. Or just like another one, just to make sure you're all with me. Like if I said, what's your favorite color? You might say
Green. Blue.
Blue.
Okay, a lot of people that can't see red might deal with some color blindness later. But thank you. Good job. So improv, like I said, we didn't take time to think of all this, which means we have a lot of really dumb jokes that just kind of rattle around in our head all the time. So we do these kind of warm-up games to get them out of the way. So this is a game that we have called 185, and it's a formulaic joke-telling game that goes like this. 185 blanks walk into a bar. The bartender says, yeah, sorry, we can't serve blanks here. And then the blanks are going to deliver some kind of punchline. Either it's going to be punny, It might make you groan. It might be a little raunchy, but we'll see. We'll see. It'll all be based on the suggestions that we get from you. So think about it, studio audience. Not that everything's resting on your shoulders, but a lot is. So if I could get my my little joke tellers up for me, please. Here they come. Here they come. Oh, look at those scared little faces. Oh, Naomi, long time no see. Long time no see.
I'm back.
So for our first suggestion, studio audience, could I just get something that is really unique to your place of work? Like an item that's unique to your place of work.
French horn.
What was that?
French horn.
A French horn. I like it. 185 French horns walk into a bar.
185 French horns walk into a bar. The bartender says, "We don't serve French horns here." And the French horns say, "Below us."
Oh!
185 French horns walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve your kind here." And the 185 French horns say, "We're not that kind of horny."
185. Oh. 185 French horns walk into a bar. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve French horns here." The French horns say, "Can't you at least give us a buzz?"
185 French horns walk into a bar with short skirts on. Bartender says, "We don't serve French horns here." And the French horns say, "You didn't want a piece of this brass?"
185 French horns walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve your kind here." And the 185 French horns say, "Why? We came in the rear."
185 French horns walk in the bar. The bartender says, "We don't serve French horns here." The French horns say, "Oh, I bet you'd let us in if we were English."
185 French horns walk into a bar. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve French horns here." The French horns say, "Come on, we're really curvy."
185 French horns walk into the bar. Bartender's like, "We don't serve French horns here," and the French horns wave a white flag and retreat.
185 French horns walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve French horns here." And the French horns say, "That really pushes my buttons."
185 French horns walk in the bar. Bartender says, "We don't serve French horns here." And the French horns say, "No, horn." Horn.
185 French horns walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve your kind here." And the 185 French horns say, "That's okay. This place isn't that upscale."
185 French horns walk into a bar. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve French horns here." The French horns say, "Je suis très désolé." They're sad. They're sad.
That was French horns. Okay, studio audience, we're back to you. I'm already in your house. So imagine I'm running through your kitchen, frolicking as I do, and I open, you know, that junk drawer that everyone has in their kitchen. What's the first thing I see in there?
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks. 185 chopsticks walk into a bar. What do you got?
185 chopsticks walk into a bar, and bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve chopsticks here." And the chopsticks say, "Stop splitting us apart."
185 chopsticks walk into a bar. Bartender says, "We don't serve chopsticks here. Get out." And the chopsticks say, "We'll tie a rubber band around us so we're easier to use."
185 chopsticks walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve your kind here." And the 185 chopsticks say, "Yeah, I guess 370 of us walking at closing is a little difficult on you."
185 chopsticks walk into a bar. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve chopsticks here." The chopsticks say, "Da, da, 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 da."
185 chopsticks walk in the bar. Bartender says, "We don't serve chopsticks here." And the chopsticks say, "You'll come crawling back when you get rid of plastic utensils."
Ooh. And that was chopsticks. Can I get one more suggestion? Audience, what is your, think back to your childhood. Think about all your happiness that you had. Who was your favorite cartoon character or favorite character on TV?
Beast Boy.
Who?
Bart
Beast Boy?
Simpson.
Audience FV, was that Beast Boy?
Beast Boy, yeah.
All right. 185 Beast Boys walk into a bar.
185 Beast Boys walk into a bar. The bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve Beast Boys here. And the Beast Boys ask, well, how come? And the bartender says, because you're a teen?
Yeah. That was very good.
185 Beast Boys walk into the bar. Bartender says, we don't serve Beast Boys here. And the Beast Boys say, actually, they just transform into a bunch of random people and then go about their day.
185 Beast Boys walk into a bar. The bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve Beast Boys here. The Beast Boys say, come on, look around. This bar's teeming with titans.
Beast Boys going once, going twice. And teaming with Titans was the last one, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. That was 185. We're going to switch it on over to a new game. I don't know if you know, but improv, we don't get a lot of budget. But the little budget that I did have, I filtered all into making the smartest computer in all the world. This computer can answer any question about your life, the future, like what's the meaning of life. It can do it all. The only limitation is it has 4 little speaker ports, and it can only speak 1 port at a time. So a little bummer, but I'm gonna get these ports all loaded up for me, please. There's our first one. They're still loading. Second one's there. Our third one, and finally, our fourth one. You know, and I call it supercomputer, but supercomputer is kind of a, like calling a person like, hey, human. So let me just get it, you know, calibrated by saying, supercomputer, what should I call you?
Call.
Me.
The.
Very.
Hungry.
Super.
Duper.
Duper.
Caterpillar.
The very hungry, super duper duper caterpillar. Obviously, so much easier to say than supercomputer. Thank you so much. Now, studio audience, I'm going to turn this over to you. Do you have any questions for the very, very super duper duper hungry caterpillar? It can answer any question for you, anything that you've ever wanted to know. Any questions at all that you have?
I have one.
Yeah, what's up?
Why is poop brown?
You know, that's a great question I've always wanted to know. The very hungry, super duper duper caterpillar. Why is poop brown?
Poop
Is
Brown.
Because.
of
your
Feces.
So.
you
should
Not.
Always.
clean
your
Toilet.
Because.
feces
are
Brown.
When.
they
come
Out.
Okay, yeah. So your poop's brown because of your feces. So just remember, don't always clean your toilet. Hopefully that answered that question for you, audience member. Anyone else? Anyone else got a question for our dear, super smart friend here? It can be anything that you've ever wanted to know about your life, the future, the world.
Will time travel ever be possible?
Thank you. Great question. Hey, buddy, will time travel ever be possible?
time
travel
Is.
A.
articulate
method
Of.
Traveling.
back
to
The.
Times.
where
you
Can.
Believe.
that
you
Are.
Important.
but
you
Must.
Never.
travel
alone.
All right. Hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, it sounds like it is possible, but you just can't do it alone. So find a buddy and you too can travel back in time today. I'm going to take one last question for our little pal here.
Why do female praying mantises eat their mate?
Yeah, thank you. I've always wanted to know this. But why do female praying mantises always eat their mate after coitus?
Hunger
Is
The
Reason.
that
they
fuck.
So
when
they
Are
done.
fucking
they
devour.
Each other.
There you go. Yeah, it's all because of hunger. That's the whole reason they're getting wanky. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our dear supercomputer. Thank you so much, and we will see you in just a bit.
Give it up for suggestions only. I think my parents who are here in the studio audience learned some new words there at the end. Hope you held your ears. Yes, very. We need a bleep button just for them. I'm so excited to have a mix of performers from all around the state today at this show. We'll go ahead and bring up the next act, who's a staple in the Salem comedy scene. There, she hosts the Truth or Dare live show at the Infinity Room, which I believe is formerly Capital City Theater. Please give a warm welcome to Emma Jonas.
Woo! Hello. Hey, thank you so much. Hey, everybody. How are we all doing? You don't have to answer. It's rhetorical. That's nice. I'm glad you're clapping. I'm clapping too. I'm excited about this. I'll introduce myself to you. My name is Emma Jonas. Emma Pace Jonas actually is my full name, and the reason that Pace is my middle name is that the day that I was born, my father ran a marathon. Nice little homage. Yeah, it's sweet, right? Just glad my parents didn't go with bloody nipples. It's in the running, apparently. Man, I'm sorry. This is just, this is weird, right? Like I'm not going to pretend that this isn't weird, that I'm like standing in my room doing comedy on a mic that is not connected to anything. This is a crutch. You know, it's so strange to do comedy in a vacuum. I mean, like, you can't even hear me over it, you know? It's very difficult. Anyway, I'm a prop comic now. That's who I am these days. That's what I'm up to, and about you guys. But it's just me and my objects around here. It's not going well. No, it's going fine. I'm just getting really into dad jokes. It turns out I guess they're genetic. And I actually do take after my dad quite a bit. From him, namely, I inherited my affinity for puns and my chronic depression. So when I was a baby, apparently people would look at me and say, "Oh, so sweet. She has her father's cries." Will do, Dad. Thanks for that. Thank you so much. My dad and I used to actually get into a lot of arguments over nothing. We would just get into these huge screaming matches, and it was terrible. But it all changed when at like 50 years old, this dude took up yoga, and it's amazing. He's like a completely different guy now. Like now he can tell me that he's disappointed in me with both legs firmly behind his head. Feat of strength. Very impressive. I've actually, during this whole quarantine, I've actually been getting closer with my parents. Like we've been getting on really well. And I think the reason for it is that our phone calls have gotten a lot more productive, since now legally they can't spend half the calls begging me to come visit. It's great. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like things are constantly spiraling out of control. Maybe that's just me. Probably. I don't know. But it's what a wild time to be alive. Even before this whole quarantine, I mean, things have been really snowballing, but I've taken up a new hobby that does give me a little bit of a sense of control. What I'll do when I feel like the world is just falling through my grasp is I'll just take a pregnancy test, because you can just do that anytime. They don't tell you that. You're just allowed to take it whenever you want, especially if you haven't been banging. It's great because you're like, I know how it's going to go, and it went that way. It's awesome. If you're a dude, try it. Try it if you're a dude. It's great. And then there's a little added bonus, which is that if it does come up positive, then you know you got to go to the doctor for something else. So win-win, you know? Hot tip for you. I've been smoking a lot of weed. That's another way I'm getting through this. Woo, indeed. I love weed. I love weed so much. I love that it's legal now. Like, what a time, you know? That's, at least we have that. At least we know that the weed is essential. We've all agreed on that, and you can still get it anytime. I love it. Like, I love that now I can go out and get my groceries and get my gas and get my weed, and it counts as running errands. It's an adult activity. How fun is that? I guess I need to be stoned for business reasons. I don't know. I think the biggest change for me since we became legal is that before, when I was a kid smoking pot, I would have to hide it. So if anyone ever asked me why my eyes were red, I would have to tell them, well, it's because I was crying. But now if somebody asks me why my eyes are red, I get to tell them, well, because I was getting high. And then they don't know that I was crying. It works every time. Try it out. Been smoking weed, been doing a lot, just trying to get through this quarantine. And like, I do all the stuff, you know, I've got the hand sanitizer, I wash my hands all the time, I got my mask right here. And I don't mind the masks really, except it has kind of gotten in the way for me sexually. Like, I don't mean to be crass, but it's kind of tough because my biggest kink is sneezing directly into somebody's mouth. And that kind of prevents that. It's a bit of a bummer. Real turn off. I was walking the other day, I was walking my dog, and on the side of the street, I saw a used tampon applicator, just the applicator, just a little cardboard tubies, clearly had been used, just discarded on the side of the street, like somebody was really in a hurry to change their tamp, which I can relate to. But my initial thought was like, ew, that's been in somebody's vagina. Ugh. And then I was like, wait a minute. Every person has been in somebody's vagina at some point. Some of us more recently than others. But I guess that explains like why I'm so disgusted with every single person I've ever come across. That tracks, you know. That's why I find humanity so gross. Or it's the racism. I don't know. One of the two is the reason I don't want to be near people. No, that joke's more bitter than I really am. Let's see. Well, I actually am excited to tell you guys I have a little surprise in store for you. My dog is here. In my spare time during this quarantine, I actually have been trying my hand at some wizardry, and I am very proud to say I managed to cast a spell on my dog that allows him to talk. So I thought I should unveil this experiment to the world via this Zoom show. I'm gonna get my mask on here for safety. And you guys get to meet my dog. His name's Benjamin. Can you still hear me okay? I know it's a little muffled here, muzzled, no pun intended. But here we go. This is Benjamin. He's an Australian Shepherd. He's a very good boy. And we're gonna get to know him a little bit once I can get this straight. Hey, Ben. Hey, buddy. How you doing? There he is. There's the boy. There we go. All right. Hey, Ben. How you doing today, man? Are you feeling good? Oh yeah, I'm feeling pretty good today. It's been a nice day. Went for a walk earlier. Licked my balls a little. Well, they used to be balls, but somebody stole those a long time ago. Yeah, he's been bringing that up a lot ever since I imbued him with the ability to speak. And like, I get it, but I didn't do it. I adopted you far after that happened to you. So You don't need to keep bringing that up to me. Anyway, Ben, so I just want to know, like, how are you enjoying the quarantine? Well, it's been pretty good, actually. Really in support of this whole COVID-19 thing that's been going on. I mean, it's pretty good, pretty great stuff there. What, dude? A lot of people are dying. I don't know if you realize this. Now is not the time. I don't know if you realize that there's like a lot of death happening. It's very serious. I mean, don't you have anything to say about that? Yeah, I don't really care about any other people other than you. Everyone else, as far as I'm concerned, can just fuck off. I mean, you're home all the time, and that's really all that's important. Oh, it's important to me. Feeling a little peeved that you would even ask me that. Okay, wow, Ben, that's honestly very inconsiderate. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this might have been a mistake allowing this guy to talk. This is a little scary. Ben, I just want to ask you, like, what do you think is the future of COVID-19? What are your hopes for the state of the world? And I would appreciate if you could look at me while you talk. He doesn't want to. I'm gonna do it. That's fine. That's fine. That's totally fine. I do want to know. Well, all right. I'll tell you. I think that if it were up to me, then me and all the other dogs. It's too bad we can't carry it because I think we'd go around and make sure that this lasts a very long time because you've been rubbing my belly for upwards of an hour a day, and that's really made my life a hell of a lot better. And I think that it's selfish of anyone to want to take that away from me. Wow. There you have it, folks. Turns out I'm living with a self-centered asshole, and I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I thought he was a good boy, and it turns out not a very good boy at all. All right, Ben, well, I'll let you get back to sleeping. And I guess it's about time for me to wrap up here. So I'll just, we're going to scoot away. God, we're going to have a talk later. I mean, it was really unexpected, not a nice surprise. But if anyone wants me to cast a spell on your dog to make him talk, maybe think twice about that, because I think a lot of them are going to say things that we're not too excited about. But I hope you all are having fun doing stuff during the quarantine, and thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the show, everybody. Woo!
For Emma, amazing. You never knew you would see so many types of comedy in one show. We've got stand-up, improv, prop comedy, human, animal sketch comedy, all coming at you tonight. I know we have some viewers in the Midwest today, so I just wanted to let you all know that for the folks in the Midwest, weed means marijuana. I thought they might be missing some context. We're here on the West Coast, special place. I'm excited for the next set to bring suggestions only back to the virtual stage. We'll see some more improv from them, so give a warm welcome back to Suggestions Only.
We're back. Hey everyone, we're back, and we're just gonna get right into it. And because we're gonna play a game to show that we're actually kind of smart. I know there's this idea that like maybe we didn't do great in school, or because we didn't plan anything ahead, we don't have the ability to do that. I mean, we do, we're just like a little too lazy to do that. So this is a game called Haiku Battle that we're gonna play. So we'll have two improvisers that will face off and make a haiku based on one of your suggestions. And then we'll decide together, based on how loud you cheer for them, who was the winner. Now, just as a reminder, in case some of you didn't, do well in school, a haiku is a poem that has 5 syllables, then 7 syllables, and then 5 syllables again. Our improvisers will count on their fingers to show that they know what a syllable is and that they are doing it properly. If they miscount, please feel free to let them know. We've all been stuck at home a lot. And there's maybe like some tension built up because we can't go see our friends. So husbands and wives are stuck at home together. And so I want to utilize that. And so our first duo is going to be a husband and wife against each other. So could I please get best poet person ever, Oriana, I assume, versus her husband, Jason, Falling Seeds. Oh, here we go. To get these two started, audience, could I get something like, what's your favorite thing to find in nature?
Caterpillar.
A caterpillar. Great. So you two, your suggestion is caterpillar. Take that as you will. On your mark, get set, go.
I will cocoon you. I then grow and beat you down.
Ooh.
Bow to a druid.
Oh, Oriana, your response.
Okay.
You are a small seed. This world doesn't need you here. Scooch on over there.
Oh, okay. There's some serious heat drop between these two. Audience, who thinks that our dear friend Falling Seeds won? Give me a round of applause. Cheers. Okay, okay.
I liked her.
I liked her. Great. And best poet person ever, Oriana. Who thinks they won? Oh, Jason, I'm sad to say it sounds like your wife has beaten you yet again. I assume you get to go clean the litter box or something. Thank you, you two. Can I have our next two up? Mike versus Jake. Jake the illiterate versus spot number 4. To get these two started, could I please get something that we're talking about a lot in the news, like the coronavirus or something else?
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my God, yes. You two's suggestion is Kelly Clarkson. Take that as you will. On your mark, get set, go.
Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson. Great. She is a wonderful gal.
Yes.
Go home, you fools.
Okay.
Boo.
Jake, your response?
I don't know Kelly. Maybe she's nice, maybe not. Better than you. Sure.
Okay. Audience, who thinks that our dear friend spot numero 4 was the winner there? And who thinks our friend Jake the illiterate was the winner there? Mike, as according to the audience, yes, Kelly Clarkson's better than you. So you're done. Thanks. Bye. Great. I'm gonna get our last two competitors here. I have Haiku you, I don't even, versus Our Lives Are Like S. You know, these names are just so long that they just don't show all the way. But it's Sarah versus Naomi. To get them started, can I please just get your like a character, a cartoon character?
Oh, Ethan.
Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Danny Phantom. I assume that's a character. So, Sarah and Naomi, the suggestion is Danny Phantom. Whenever you're ready.
I'll ghost you. You suck. I don't want to be your beau. My texts are like whoosh.
Big spooks are coming. You are not super cool, yo. You are a ghost now.
Oh,
you're right. I am a ghost.
There are some heavy shots being fired right now. Audience, who thinks our dear friend Naomi was the winner there? Okay, and everyone who thinks Sarah was the winner? Woo! I'm so sorry. Naomi, good job on winning that one. Great job, everyone. That is a difficult game to play. I don't know if you tried to do it based on those suggestions, but you come up with a little poem that you wrote in 3rd grade to turn in seconds based on someone's suggestion. I gave them a hard game, and they had a lot of time to sit there and think during our stand-up, our first stand-up act. Good job, Emma. So I'm going to let them cut loose a little bit again with another joke-telling game. So it's another all-play game for all of them. And this one is called Sex with Me. Ooh. Yeah, we're getting a little sexier. I'm going to undo another button for the occasion. Hopefully that's good for all of you, because it's very hot in this room for me. So this game is pretty simple. It's a formulaic game. It goes, sex with me is like blank. And then we'll tell you how your suggestion is like having sex with one of them. So to get them started, could I please get something, studio audience, that you would find in the trunk of your car?
Umbrella.
An umbrella. Sex with me is like an umbrella.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. We don't do it inside because it's bad luck.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. Wet.
Oh, yeah.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. You'll make me pop up.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. If it's strong, you'll put me inside out.
Oh.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. You use it so you don't get wet.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. If you're gonna expect to use it heavily, you're gonna need one of those plastic sheaths.
Oh, yeah. That's
Sex
right.
with me is like an umbrella. You're gonna want to take me home.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. All it takes is just pushing the right button.
Oh.
My. Sex with me is like an umbrella. If you're lucky, 2 of you can fit.
Oh.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. I'm gonna need you to shake me out first.
Sex with me
Sex
is
with me
like an
is like-
umbrella. Sometimes it's promotional and free.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. You might wonder why I'm using it in broad daylight.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. No one in Oregon will do it.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. You'll want to cover up when you go inside.
Ooh.
Sex with me is like an umbrella. It goes great in the middle of a dance number.
Just hot dance sex. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Umbrella. We're gonna cut it back out to you. Audience, let's say I'm still in your home like I always am. And I am going into your basement like I do, uninvited. What am I going to find in the first storage tote I open?
Legos.
Legos. Sex with me is like Legos.
Sex with me is like Legos. We fit together perfectly. And it might be a little hard to get us unstuck.
Oh.
Sex with me is like Legos. There's warnings for choking.
Ooh.
Sex with me is like Legos. Lego my lady lumps.
Sex with me.
Legos. Someone's going to get hurt.
Sex with me is like really complicated Legos, 16 and up.
Oh, no. I think we need to reevaluate that rating.
Sex with me is like Legos. Very high tolerances.
Sex with me is like Legos. There's probably a couple under your bed.
Sex with me is like Legos, kind of pricey and a lot of plastic.
Sad.
Sex with me is like Legos. You'll have fun no matter what, but the manual is where it's at.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Legos. For our last suggestion for this game, could I please get who's someone that's really popular in the news right now, like Donald Trump?
Fauci.
Who?
Fauci.
Dr. Fauci. Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci.
Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci. I know what I'm talking about. I do it.
Sex to me is like Dr. Fauci. I'm basically begging you not to leave your home.
Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci, short?
Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci. Yeah, we can do it. You just gotta get tested like every time.
Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci. After we get done, you're going to sound like a 3-pack-a-day smoker.
Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci. We're gonna need masks.
Ooh.
Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci. I may be the expert, but there's always some buddy who doesn't know anything about it who's going to tell me how to do it better.
Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci. I like to stand behind the president while I do it.
And Oriana, last one.
Sex with me is like Dr. Fauci. I really was like a big deal in the 80s.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That was Sex with Me. And that was our second set. We will see you again in a bit. Be warned.
Woo. Let's hear it one more time for suggestions only.
Woo!
Yay. If you're enjoying the show out there in the world, consider tipping the performers. I think the valiant Nate from the Majestic will be sharing the details for this periodically in the Facebook chat. What an exciting mix of comedy today. I'm excited to bring up next another stand-up comedy performer. This next act is the master architect of the D.B. Cooper Comedy Festival down in Eugene, and he also hosts the Laugh Track Town USA show down there. Everybody give a warm welcome to Max Brockmann.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Thank Naomi and suggestions only. Thank you for having me on the show with no pants. I don't understand why there were no pants allowed on the show, but I'm for it. We'll do that. Let's just address the elephant in the room. This is an awkward situation. I've been doing stand-up for 9 years, and it's pretty typical. Stand-up tells a joke, the audience laughs, and you repeat. We can't do that, so I found a way around it. I was talking to my old college buddy, Eddie Snowden, and he found a way. We're going to hack into all of your phones and computers, get your laughs, and bring it back to the stream. So if you're not okay with that, go ahead and just raise your hand. And I just see myself, so we're good to go. Okay, let's start with a joke. Sometimes I like to smoke a plant. I won't.
Max, you're so mysterious.
I need to know the plant it was.
Max disappeared. I almost know his joke, but I don't think I can finish it. But
Oh,
now he
I'm
can.
back. I'm back. Okay. Sometimes I like to smoke a plant. I won't say which plant, but I will say this. It starts with marijuana and it ends with both of my arms stuck in Pringles cans.
Yes.
This is awkward. We're going to go to the second joke. Sometimes I like to smoke a plant. I won't say which plant, but I will say this. It starts with marijuana and it ends with me opening 20 stores and gentrifying the neighborhood. Wow, it's weird. You guys almost sound like a laugh track from a 90s sitcom. That's interesting. I think being in a bad relationship is like being in a public restroom. You know, you open the first stall and it's dirty. You open the second stall and it's filthy. And for some reason, you think when you open that third stall that it will love you back. I think I recognize that. You guys have a good laugh. Sometimes I think being in a bad relationship is like being in a public restroom. You open the first stall and it's dirty. You open the second stall and it's filthy. And for some reason, you think when you open that third stall that there'll still be cocaine in there. And there won't be. I lost my virginity in a threesome, and I know what you're thinking. That sounds amazing. It's not amazing. Because when a guy has sex for the first time, it's awkward, and he does not know what's going on. The only difference when a guy has sex for the first time with two people is that there's a third party in the room pointing, saying, I don't think you know what you're doing. You guys laugh. It's changing a little bit. Okay. I ran into my ex-girlfriend at the bar last night, so I waved at her, but then I realized that wasn't my ex-girlfriend. It was just a random guy with a ponytail. So I apologized for waving at him and told him that I still love him. I think my friend told me you have to try this brownie because it's like crack. I was confused. When did Reagan use brownies to destroy the lower class? Yeah, I think I'd go for Godfrey. Okay, we're going to move on. I think penguins are the best animals of all time because when it comes to fight or flight, they fail adorably at both. That's my one PG joke. I used to blackout drink every night. Blacking out is when you drink so much alcohol that you decide to go to sleep, and then 5 hours later you wake up and realize that you never went to sleep. I used to do drugs that destroyed my mind, my body, and my spirit. Now I drink diet soda, so my health is exactly the same. One night I left myself a scavenger hunt when I was blacked out drunk and I had to solve it in the morning. It took me 4 hours to solve the scavenger hunt and find the prize, which was a post-it note self-representation of my self-esteem. It was a pretty good prize, but my car keys would have been a better one. I woke up from a blackout one time with a gift card from Hobby Lobby for $50. And no, I'm pretty sure I didn't get blacked out drunk and buy a $50 gift card for Hobby Lobby. But I cannot rule out the idea that I got blacked out drunk and made a deal with the devil for a $50 gift card at Hobby Lobby. So last year, I had to buy an easel for a show I was putting on. So I thought, I'm going to use the gift card from Hobby Lobby to buy the easel. And yes, to answer your question, I felt bad about shopping at a store that's homophobic. But I found a way around it, which is this. When I'm done using my easel, I'm going to let anyone that wants to have gay sex on my easel. And then when I'm done using the easel and everyone's done having gay sex on my easel, I'll return it to Hobby Lobby. And when I return it to Hobby Lobby, they're going to say, what is that on the easel? And I'll say, it's paint. It's white paint. It's sticky white paint.
Aww.
And they'll say, you cannot return an easel with sticky white paint on it. And I'll say, that's okay. I don't care if you return it. I just want you to hold it for a little bit longer. because there's cum on it. My friend, this guy told me that if I don't wear my helmet on my bike, that I could die. I told him I had died 3 times from drug overdoses. And you know what? Wearing a bike helmet only would have helped one of those times. Yeah, it's a dark joke. I went to a party last week. I was the only person at the party that was sober. Everyone at the party was on acid. I was the only sober person at the party with acid, and that was weird. It was like being okay, we're gonna move on. When I can't find parking, I always park at a church. Best case scenario, I get free parking. Worst case scenario, I get sent to hell, which also has free parking. My day job, I work as a caregiver. I take care of older people for a living. I spent 45 minutes last night trying to convince an adult to let me change their diaper. People complain about babies, but babies don't talk back. My baby talks back, and my baby fought in Vietnam. My favorite person I take care of, I'm going to call her Molly Ringwald because I want to protect her privacy and because I cry when I watch Pretty in Pink and I'm taking that power back. So Molly has memory issues. Every time I talk to her, she says the same thing. She says, I've been everywhere in the world. I have nowhere else to go because I've been everywhere in the world, even Alaska, which in itself is an old-timey thing to say. Like, I've been to all 48 states and both territories, even Alaska. But last week, she said the same thing, but instead of Alaska, she said Alcatraz, which is different. She goes, I've been everywhere in the world, even Alcatraz. Wait, what's the other word? Alaska. And what's the other word? Alcatraz. Well, they're kind of the same. Alaska and Alcatraz are not the same. One is a prison hellscape, and the other one is an island off of San Francisco. All right, that's my time. Thank you so much. Have a great time.
Let's hear it one more time for Max. Is anyone else a little concerned about how many parties Max is attending?
Yes.
Stay safe. Stay
Sounded
safe,
fun.
Max. It does sound fun. Max talked a little bit about cocaine and acid, and again, I wanted to translate for my friends in the Midwest. That's sort of like meth and fentanyl for us. Those are our drugs, I guess. I'm excited to bring Suggestions Only back to the stage. We'll have one more improv set, and Chris Johnson will be taking us home with one final stand-up set tonight. But for now, welcome back, Suggestions Only.
Woo! I threatened that we would be back, and we are back. Oriana, go away! Thank you. Thank you. So this is our last game that we're going to play for you. It is one of our favorites to end with. It is a game that we call Press Conference. So we are going to have someone put themselves on mute, go away for a bit. In this case, it is going to be Oriana. Oriana, do you want to show your face one more time? Or have you already muted yourself? Here's the accused. She is hot garbage from here on out, taking out her headphones. She doesn't know what I'm saying. It's fine. You're good. So Oriana is going to have to guess a couple things that we are going to come up with together. So she's going to have to guess who she is, what crime she's committed, and where she did it. Now you might be wondering, how are we going to get all that information? Well, don't worry, studio audience. It's where you come in. We'll come out to you. We'll fill up all of those. And then our improv members will pretend to be members of a press. And they'll be asking questions to try to kind of guide Oriana into guessing what she needs to guess. So as she is getting there, feel free to give her some oohs if she's getting warm, or if she was kind of warm and then she kind of goes off on a path that you can tell is not the right way, give her a nah, you be vocal, let her know, because it's a pretty hard game to figure out who you are. So to get her started, who is Oriana? Who's a famous person that's that you enjoy? Who should we have her be? Audience, this is you, someone famous. Anyone?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Okay, great. Yes. Oriana is SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, what has SpongeBob SquarePants done? Something that's not really a crime, like broke a mirror or ate some celery, something like that. What's SpongeBob done?
He
Yeah?
got a promotion for a job he didn't have.
Okay. Got a promotion for a job he didn't have. Okay, something kind of like that. Yeah, I like the idea of that. Let's kind of work with that a bit. Anything else? Any other ideas? Like rode a skateboard.
Killed a fish.
Killed a fish. Perfect. Yeah. Not inherently illegal, but for SpongeBob, I think it definitely would be. Now, let's get our last piece of information here. Where did SpongeBob kill a fish? Somewhere oddly specific, like the lawn of the White House, or the top of the Eiffel Tower, or somewhere. What's a really oddly specific place? The Walmart in Albany.
Does it have to exist in real life or in SpongeBob's universe?
Preferably not in SpongeBob's universe, but you could dip into someone else's. Like it could be the Millennium Falcon.
McDonald's bathroom.
Okay. In a McDonald's bathroom. Okay, I like that. Here we go. So Oriana's going to have to guess that she is SpongeBob SquarePants, who killed a fish in the McDonald's bathroom. That should be easy enough. We're going to have our press will be on. Press, do you want to start showing yourselves now? So that way we can have you here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And last one will show up eventually, I'm sure. Everybody, let's give a warm, give Oriana a big boo as she comes back on. Boo! 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 Ugh.
Well, excuse me.
Uh-huh.
That's uncalled for.
Okay. I think you know why. Do you have anything? We've called together this press conference per your request, of course, so you can talk about everything. Did you have any words that you wanted to get out before we get started?
Absolutely. It is the American way to not accuse somebody or wait until they have been proven guilty before you call them any mean names. So I'm just here to clear my name of all wrongdoings.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to turn it on over to our press conference here. We're going to start with our dear friends over at Glamour magazine. Glamour, thank you for being here.
Oh, hey, this is Sasha from Glamour. I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say I love your bikini, especially the bottom.
Okay.
Oh my God,
tight, tiny. You have a tight hiney.
You flatter me so much. Thank you. If you want to stick around until after the show, we can talk.
Glamour, I'm going to remind you again about your press credentials and how we might revoke them. So, okay, thank you. Let's shoot on down to Dude with a Note.
Notepad, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the dudes back home, they really want to know, especially you, how you feel about pineapple on pizza. We just gotta know your thoughts on it specifically.
Oh, it's any meal that's that. It's just you take a beautiful concept and then you add something else that's beautiful, like pizza and pineapple, and you mush them together and you force people to like it. And that's the American way. So I'm all for it. Very patriotic over here.
Great. Good to hear. Surprising, but good to hear. Best Friends Monthly. You have any questions you want to ask?
Yeah. So how much of your fame do you think is due to you, and how much do you think it's due to your under-recognized best friend?
Well, I don't know. I think he's just the right amount of recognized, because, as much as he has a really big heart, Patrick honestly doesn't have anything going on him.
Interesting.
That's why the show's named after me.
Okay.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, there it is. Good job, SpongeBob. You know your name. Woo! But we're not. Okay. We're not here for your silly laugh or your name. We're here because of what you did. Okay, it's a big deal. So we're gonna turn over to the Pope. The Pope has a question. Oh, I'm sorry, PETA. I misread those credentials. They keep flashing in front of them and changing. PETA?
I have multiple credentials. Before I was gonna say you're holy and I admire that, but I'm also just very upset. And I just wanted to ask you, how did you find it in yourself to do such a terrible thing?
I have such a childlike quality about me that you could just say that my brain is not yet developed enough to understand the depths and the consequences of my action. And that's what my lawyer keeps telling me to tell everybody.
PETA's very upset.
Yeah, good job for lawyering up. They don't do that on a lot of shows anymore. Gregory, Office of the... I'm sorry, you'll have to repeat the end of it. We can't read it from here.
Gregory from the Office of the Governor, and I'm not really...
Thank you.
I'm not really here for the press conference. I'm just here to remind the American Oregonians that you cannot be going to the coast during this Memorial Day weekend. You need to stay within your communities because there is a coronavirus outbreak. You cannot be going places. You can't be going out into the communities. You can't be doing things. We know that you want to leave, but you need to stay home.
Okay. Thanks for being quite the bummer on this press conference. I didn't know I'd have to say that. But yeah.
I'm already wearing my bikini bottom.
What a shame. We're going to turn it down to journalist number 2.
Hi, journalist number 2 from Redacted here. And I know we were outside of your jurisdiction, but it kind of seems like murder. So just, do you have anything to clear your name in that regard?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. What kind of life was it living to begin with, you know? If the quality of life was poor, then there's really nothing that, I honestly, it's probably more of a favor. I did it a favor by killing the ocean.
Okay.
Well, no, not quite, but interesting. This isn't really a philosophical debate that you seem to have gone a little broad, but we're going to throw it on down to outdoor living.
Yeah, thanks. We're going to have a big summer special issue. And, you know, being a high-profile celebrity, we were interested in what kind of equipment you were using when you did this.
Yeah.
You know, if you could give us the details of every piece of equipment so we can contact the manufacturers and, you know, advertise.
Well, I don't go anywhere without my spatula. That's for sure. And I would say my driver's license, but I don't yet think I have one.
So you have fake IDs aren't what we're here for, so don't worry about it.
What model spatula?
I don't know. It's whatever Mr. Krabs gives me.
Okay.
Just never heard of that being done with a spatula.
Yeah. Interesting.
Thanks for nothing.
Tommy's mom, we'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I guess I have something to get off my chest. I've actually done something similar to the terrible thing you did in the past, totally by accident. And, you know, I had trouble deciding what to tell my son Tommy about what happened. So I was curious, after you did it, did you say, like, it's in a better place or it's like on a farm? What can I tell my son next time?
Honestly, honesty is the best policy. So you just tell your son Tommy that your pet died and it's dead.
Yeah.
And you killed it.
Oh, yeah.
Question. How did you dispose of the body?
You know, my lawyer told me not to answer that question because it has not yet been proven that I killed a pet.
Yeah, but very specific kind of pet. Yeah, we'll get there.
My snail?
No, okay. Miguel with food today, we're going to cut it down to you. Miguel?
Okay, well, I was going to ask one question, but now I'm really worried about where this pet went because I was going to go out for some sushi later, and I'm really worried about exactly it went because I don't want whatever you killed to be ending up on my plate later, you know?
Miguel, you don't need to worry. Unless the sushi place goes through the sewer system, I flushed my pet fish.
Interesting. Wow. Very specific. So what was it that you did? Just to be crystal clear, you did what?
I killed my pet fish and flushed him down the toilet.
Okay, well that was, okay. Yeah.
I just killed my pet fish.
Okay, yeah. We'll take that. You killed a fish. Great job.
What I did with it, it's none of your business.
But, you know, Miguel, I know I said it wasn't, that was kind of like what we were here for, SpongeBob. But the other problem
I can go now?
No, the other problem, we just got to get it really quick where you did it. And that's it's pretty shameful.
I don't think that's important.
Well, it's pretty, mind you, they don't beat me anymore, but it's pretty fucking shameful. So I'm going to just start off, with your dear friend, our Krusty Krab CEO is here. So if you'll think about that.
Mr. Krabs!
It is not Mr. Krabs, it is I, the CEO of Krusty Krabs. I just wanted to know, I'm French for some reason. I wanted to know, why did you not do it in a Krusty Krab?
Yeah.
I would never taint the reputation of our fine establishment with such an act that I have yet to be proven that I've done it, even though I confessed.
Yeah, I think it's just a surprise. We all thought brand loyalty was important to you, so this is interesting. Plumber number 2, thanks for tuning in. You have a question?
Yeah, I'm just here to help try to figure out, track down the body, and I was just curious, worried about plumbing in this public place. You know, it's a very high traffic area. did you have any thought or concern about others when you did this?
No, it was one of those days where I was only thinking of myself when I killed this fish in a public toilet.
Ooh. Yeah, very close. A very specific one is the problem.
Okay.
We're gonna shoot it on down to our
If it
Pacific
was
North.
just a not specific public toilet, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Right. Pacific Northwest Radical Quarterly.
Quarterly.
Thank you.
Radical
Sorry.
Quarterly.
Yeah, you guys all have too long of names.
So yeah, I was just looking for any kind of self-awareness or acknowledgement of, some kind of shame that you have for doing this to these poor workers who have to clean up after you, who already get, attacked by customers who don't want to wear masks. And then you go and treat this facility of theirs like, it's your own place to come up with memes. And they're not even getting paid a living wage. How do you feel about that?
There's so many parts to your question that I can answer. If they're not getting paid a living wage, then they should probably either work somewhere else or request that their state increases the minimum wage. But that's not really what you're asking. What you're asking is, why did I do it at a Burger King bathroom? Bathroom.
Oh, there it is. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
And the answer is, it's the closest one to my house, honestly.
That tracks. Will you just give us a quick rundown just so we all know that we're on the same page?
Yeah, well, my lawyer's going to kill me for this, but I, SpongeBob SquarePants, killed my pet fish in a McDonald's bathroom. Whether or not I flushed him down the toilet, I will never tell you.
Great. Well, thank you all so much. This was our last little set, so thank you for letting us be here. We will catch you next time.
Woo. Let's hear it for suggestions only. Ooh, and our next act is here on the stage already, so I'll intro him. This next performer was recognized as one of the top 5 Portland comics in 2019. He hosts shows at Portland's Mississippi Pizza Pub and also at Ground Control. Here's Chris Johnson.
Yay!
Woo!
Half of those places are closed now.
Oh.
It's all thank the virus. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be a Debbie Downer. Damn. God damn it. What am I supposed to start on? Am I supposed to do jokes like my new jokes, old jokes? You guys have heard I don't know. My girlfriend caught me on onlyfans.com last week. That was pretty funny because I don't know. Anyone else feel like OnlyFans is like, I don't know, there's like I could look at my friends' nudes online, or I could look up someone's asshole getting prolapsed for free. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like a waste of money on paper, like sure, I want to support my friends, endeavors. I want to support sex workers, but for $13 a month, I'm not about to pay for you to, I don't know, wave your ass in front of the camera. And timidly, just if you're going to commit. That's all I'm trying to say. If you're going to charge me $20 a month to watch your nudes, I better be seeing, I don't know, Lex Steele make an appearance or something. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. That's an old porn reference. Speaking of porn jokes, one of my friends, I was a huge anime fan from the beginning, but at first it wasn't the best thing, to be out in the open about. One time one of my best friends came over to visit me to hang out for a little bit, and I thought I'd watch some anime before he came in, but then he showed up a lot earlier than I thought he would. So as soon as he walked in, I'd clicked off the TV real quick to hide my addiction. And then he looks at me and he goes, "What were you watching?" And I was like, "Porn, gross, dirty porn." And he was like, "What kind of porn was it?" And I was like, "Well, I was watching Lexington Steele fuck a black dude." Or no, I was watching Alexis Texas fuck a black dude. And then he responds to me, "Why are you lying to me, Chris?" And I said, "What do you mean? Why would I lie to you?" And he said, "Because Alexis Texas doesn't fuck black dudes. What are you actually doing in here, Chris?" And then I told him I was watching anime. And then I don't know how to end that joke ever. God damn it. All I've been writing for this whole thing is I've been writing rap lyrics, and I'm watching the Bernie Mac show a lot. You know, it's been a weird time. You know, watching a lot of battle rap mainly just a lot of battle rap and the Bernie Mac show. So this is a tribute to both of those shows, both of those amazing mediums. I wrote a rap poem. My Mac burn like those Bernie Mac cigs. Who is this little nigga? Must be one of Bernie Mac's kids. I step on your Jordans, give this princess a strong 30 from the Mac. Now he going where Bernie Mac live. That was kind of whack. Damn. I don't know. How do you guys feel?
Good.
This is a weird headlining set. I'm sorry. I suppose I should do some real jokes now. God damn. You know, I grew up here in Portland, Oregon. I'm going to be leaving soon, hopefully. But this is my hometown. You know, before I went off to high school, my mom, she, you know, one of the things that happened to me when I went off to high school was that I got called the N-word my first day of high school. You know, it was terrible.
Yeah.
My mom, she came home. I came home and I told my mom about it. I was crying. I was very traumatized. She was like, "Chris, what happened?" And I told her, "The kids called me the N-word at school." And they were like, "What? They called you the N-word?" And my mom was like, "I'm going to take my ass down to that school, give those white people a piece of my mind, letting those little white kids call my son a nigga." I was like, no, my mom, calm down. No, sorry. Didn't mean to scare you. They call me a nerd, Mom. They call me a nerd. And white kids, when they call you nerd, they manage to sound racist while they're doing it. You know, they were like, "Nerd," you know, with the hard R. Hate those niggas at school, Mom, so much. They suck. Worse. The worst. That's the one thing you have to learn about. You have to realize about living in Portland is if you're going to be a black dude, you got to decide if you're going to say nigga around all these white people. Am I going to say nigga around all these white people? Am I going to give up my one free black privilege, that and sitting next to people on the bus without being talked to? Am I going to give that up just because some white people are going to be uncomfortable? No. Okay, white people, sometimes you're just going to have to be the nigga in the joke, you know? From black people, I don't know if you know this, but black people, from a black person, the word nigga is both race neutral and gender neutral. So I feel like it's more progressive than people let on. I don't know, like, you tell me, like, if the word is, you know, we took it from something that used to be like really oppressive and whatnot, and still, like, old people come up to me nowadays and they're like, "You know what that word used to mean to me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, words mean different things now, all right?" Dude used to wear pink back in the day, like everything was backwards. I don't know, like the other day I was walking in the mall with my girlfriend. You can tell how old this joke is. I was walking in the mall with my girlfriend, and this little night I was peeping out the game section, you know, GameStop, every guy, when they go to the mall, they go straight towards GameStop. It's not like, even if you don't have a video game system, you still just want to go towards GameStop and away from Macy's. So, walking towards GameStop, and I see a new game coming out, Borderlands 3. Haven't played that game since Borderlands 2. Thought it was pretty dope. I got really excited. I pointed at the Borderlands 3 promo, and I said, "Oh shit, nigga!" And then, right as I said, "Oh shit, nigga," a little 9-year-old Asian girl walked in my line of fire of the "Oh shit, nigga." Her and her father just kind of stood there for a second, and she was like, Daddy, do you know what this means? I get to be a nigga now. And then she started jumping up and celebrating like I had just, graced her with a radioactive vat of sewage to give her superpowers. I wish black cards were actually given out that way. Some black dude just is dying on the side of the road. He's just been hit by a car and he's bleeding out. And then he doesn't see any more black people around. So he goes to the first white person he sees and he's like, "Oh my God, you have to take my black card." You know what I mean? I always feel like, no, I'm not giving away my black card like that. I'll die with my black card before I give it to a Portlander. Because let's face it, all they're going to do is fucking say all the N-words in all the Wu-Tang albums. That's all they're going to do with it. Oh my goodness. You ever wish you could go back in time to an argument you were having with your parents that you couldn't have at the time because you were too stupid and 5 years old at the same time? Like, you ever found yourself in a situation with your parents where you want to explain to them, like how they're on some fuck shit and what they're doing right now is bullshit, but you can't call them out on it exactly because you're just, a little too young, not hooked on phonics yet. I wish I could go back in time and tell my dad so many things he got wrong as a parent. Like, I wish I could go back in time and be like, "Hey, Dad, why you keep calling it Pokemans, Dad? It's not pronounced Pokemans, okay?" You know what, Dad? I get it. The living room's a little bit cluttered with my action figures. That does not, however, give you the right to come in here and devalue my feelings and my legitimate interests by mispronouncing my favorite things on purpose. I know what you're doing, Dad. It's not slick, okay? All right? There's no way you actually think it's pronounced Pokemans, all right? You watch this show with me every day of the week. There's no way you think... I'm just saying, Dad. There's no way you actually think it's pronounced Pokemans. You guess the mystery Pokemon every day of the week, Dad. Come on, stop it. Stop it. Guess it much better than I can because my 5-year-old brain can't comprehend shapes without colors. I think it's Pikachu every time. It's not Pikachu, apparently. It just happens to be my favorite one, I think. You know what? While we're on the subject, I'm tired of you coming in here yelling at me to clean my action figures, my Goku action figures about the refrigerator. Dad, do you know how stupid you sound? What the fuck do I look like owning 16 different Goku action figures, Dad? They have different names. You should know those names. You're the one who took me to buy them at Walmart with Mom's money. You remember that, Dad? I remember that. As a matter of fact, no, I will not take the Goku action figure out of the refrigerator because, as you can clearly see, he is training in the hyperbolic time chamber. If I take him out too soon, he wouldn't train long enough to beat Cell. You want the house to blow up today, Dad? I'm just saying, shit's tense. And Vegeta died, all right? And Vegeta died. If they don't gather the Dragon Balls in time, that's on your fucking head if they don't. Dad, sometimes I can't wait till you get old and senile. So out of the kindness of my heart and the reluctance of my wife's heart, you'll have to come live with us. In Florida, probably. Can't wait for that day that I get to catch you slipping. Leaving your shit all over my house, your little cassette tapes and shit, you jazz music listening ass nigga. I can't wait for that day I get to yell at you from my living room being like, "Hey, Dad, why don't you come clean all these goddamn Stevie Wonders and shit off my entertainment system, all right? I'm trying to listen to my Migos." All right, man. scratching up my Frank Ocean vinyls over here. You better get your shit out my hyperbolic time chamber, Chris. Sorry. All I know is you better get your shit out my hyperbolic time chamber. And you'll say something dumb like, it's insulin, son, it's insulin. I don't give a damn, nor do I know what insulin is, because this is the anecdote of a 5-year-old kid. All I know that you better get your shit out my hyperbolic time chamber, Dad. I don't know. One criticism I have for the white community, and I don't have many complaints, is that I think y'all should own your whiteness a little better, more effectively. Black people, we wear shit like hats that say chocolate on it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like more white people should just wear t-shirts that say aioli. You know, really rep that shit. I feel like white supremacy would go away if y'all repped whiteness in a more positive light. You know, like really own the fact that you've seen all 9 seasons of Friends, and that is the only thing cool about your personality. Seriously. Seriously. Yeah, you have a ream of 500 sheets of paper from The Office. Not like The Office, but like Dunder Mifflin's fictional world, The Office. We all know that you have one of those. I bought one of those. And I gifted it to one of my white friends. These are dumb jokes. I did get pulled over recently. You know, going to Dundee, Oregon. I should have, you know, like the more I say it, the more it makes sense why I got pulled over, because Black people aren't supposed to be that far outside of Portland if they're in Oregon. I was going to Dundee, Oregon to do a show at a winery. And on my way there, I was riding with another comic. We roll up a blunt, and I take a bunch of hits of that blunt, and I get really high while driving. And as we're coming up on an intersection, I see a sign. I see a red stoplight above a red stop sign. Okay. So I'm reading this like from left to right, like you're supposed to. And I'm so high at the moment that I think to myself, I'm supposed to stop stopping. Right? Right? Stop stopping. 2 stop signs right above each other. That means stop stopping. So without any hesitation, I floored it through the stop sign, got pulled over by the cop, and the cop, you know, gets out. I'm very nervous because, you know how it is with cops nowadays. And he asked to see my ID. He sees my ID, and then he says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I was like, you know, I'm not really sure why you pulled me over. I saw the stop sign and I was kind of confused, so I just ran through it. And he was like, "Yes, that's right. That means you passed the test." And then I got to go into Dundee, Oregon. It's like, cool. I had one more thing I wanted to try out. It had something to do with, I'm so stupid. Let me see. I'm so sorry, you guys. Damn. God. There's a lot of old Trump supporters in Oregon. So, there's a lot of old Trump supporters in Oregon, so I only go out at night. Why do Trump supporters not go out? What am I writing? Old white people in Oregon love weed. I smoked so much weed in a hotel parking lot that this old white lady jogging started coughing and ate shit on the pavement. I rushed over to help her out. And all she had to say with me was, "Damn, boy, that is some dank weed. Where did you get that from?" I've been trying to find new ways to piss off white people. The research has paid off. For generations, we thought cracker was the word. Then it became average. White people hate getting called average. And now the popular trigger for white people is calling them racist. But I tried to take it a step further. I was arguing with this white dude about immigration. And I was like, hey, they literally have concentration camps for Mexican children. And quite a few have been abused or worse conditions. And he said, it doesn't matter. If they don't want to live in captivity, they should have come here legally. I tried to get him off his cool by being like, well, I think you're just racist and xenophobic. And then he responded, we have systems in place for a reason and not following the same protocols everyone else has to become a resident is important to our democracy, and illegal crossing into our country undermines the principle and disrespects those who waited patiently to come here legally. And I was like, well, shit. It's a solid response, actually. So this is when it happened. When I got him off his cool, I looked him right in the face and I said, oh yeah, well, I've never seen The Wire. And then he went ape shit. You ever tell a white person you've never seen The Wire? They act like you've never seen Roots or something. You know what I mean? Like, like really, you haven't experienced that important facet of your people? You haven't seen The Office on HBO? I will give you my password. My girlfriend is taking calculus. And when she first started taking it, she asked me for help. And I told her, calculus is like loving yourself. It's something I can't teach you how to do. Oh, people always ask me why I chose stand-up. I just wanted a job where I could connect with people and keep my shoes clean. So my first two options of being a doctor and a porn star were out of the question. I just wrote down, don't trust a motherfucker named Iago. I guess that's a joke. God, how much time do I have left?
You're all done. Do you want to close with something?
Yeah, I'll close with something. Sorry. I grew up in a very religious household. And by very religious, I mean my parents came from two different religions. If you want to know what that's like, try imagining having one parent that's really, 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 really into Star Wars, and the other parent is really, 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 really into movies that are actually good. You ever experienced that before? You know, one parent's really into Wes Anderson movies, and the other one is really into movies starring Matthew McConaughey before 2007. You know, it was very weird growing up because, you know, just the dietary differences between Islam and Christianity. You know, my mom was Muslim, my dad was Christian. Just the differences between those, like dietarily, one's a no pork diet, no red meat at all, and the other one's an all pork diet, especially when the Cowboys are playing on Sunday. Just the differences between those two things made me very constipated and guilty at the same time as a kid. You ever been 7 years old with a laxative addiction? You know, you're climbing up on top of the thing to get the Coca-Cola flavored laxative out your dad's cabinet. 3 or 4 times a day, you're taking swig after swig. My dad's like, why are we going through so much laxative? You guys okay? But no, I drank so much laxative between 2000 and 2004 that I have this weird fallout perk now where I poop in 1 minute no matter what the circumstance is. That's why I don't mind being out in public nowadays, is because, you know, I go to the bathroom, I come out, you think I just peed? No, I just pooped. Mad quick. Super quick. You know, I pooped so fast that kids in middle school thought I was gay. They called me Plopscotch. But when my parents got divorced, because of course they did, they didn't have that conversation you're supposed to have with each other about who's going to force the religion on the kid. It can't be both of us. That wouldn't be right. No, I didn't have that conversation. They didn't have that conversation with each other. So I got two different religions in the same part of my life. You know, it was like watching a terrible Marvel DC movie crossover event directed by Zack Snyder. It was awful. You know, did you know that Jesus is in the Bible and the Quran? Like he's a character in both. You know? Like he just shows up in the Quran one day and he's like, "Hey, Muhammad, I'm starting a team." You know, like Nick Fury. I want you to be on my team. And then Muhammad's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go season the desert for a little bit." You know, my parents didn't have any kind of conversations. So, you know, there was no conversation of, "Hey, don't make him read any homophobic passages from the Bible. I already made him read some homophobic passages from the Quran. Don't worry about it. I got it covered. Hey, don't make him watch any Joel Osteen this Sunday. I already made him watch a bunch of YouTube videos of Farrakhan referring to white women as cave bitches. Don't worry about it. I got it covered, Philip." You know, one of the first times I ever went to church had been my second or third time going to mosque, practicing Islam. So when I first got to church, I thought the customs would be the same. You know, I get asked to pray by the pastor. And mind you, I got asked to pray when I was like 7 years old. And this was a couple years after 2001. So it wasn't the best time in the world for Islam. So I got up on stage and I told them the only prayer I knew at the time, which was may the congregation bow their heads, prepare for the Lord's Prayer. And they were totally expecting a biblical King James English translation of the Lord's Prayer, but all they got was Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin Arrahmanirrahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Khadina Salatul Mustaqim. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do the whole thing. Salatul Ladina Amdu Aleichem. Ba'ivil Magdubi Aleichem Waladolin. My dog thinks I'm crazy now. And what let the church say?
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, I did that entire prayer one time in front of a congregation of church folk. And, you know, they were very shocked. You know, they were very shocked because they thought this 7-year-old was speaking tongues at such a ridiculously young age. They didn't even think I was speaking Arabic. It was crazy. They were like, "Oh my God, this boy has learned the tongue of the Lord at such a young age." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, the Lord's tongue." Or as the guy at the other place told me, the Shah's Arabic. I guess if that's the Lord's tongue, it can be the Lord's tongue here. It's going to make Sunday school a lot easier. Oh, all right. I guess that's the end of my joke. I'm sorry. That's all my time, you guys. Sorry for going over.
Yay, Chris. Everybody give it up one more time for Chris Johnson. He told some borderline political jokes. I'll close us out with one faux political joke. The day after the last presidential election was a hard one for me because on that day, I sprained my wrist plugging in my computer. It was like a really, really bad sprain, so bad that I went to the doctor to check it out, and the doctor diagnosed me with tendinitis. She said, I may never type again. Sad, very sad, dramatic joke. Chris mentioned a lot of educational things in his set for the Midwesterners. I just want to run through a few of them. Aioli, for my friends in the Midwest, that is mayonnaise. That's a fancy word for mayonnaise. Blunt is a vehicle for marijuana, as my dad knows, apparently. And Chris mentioned porn too, for my Midwesterners. That's short for pornography. Just kidding, we have that there too. We have pornography. One other note is that Chris's set reminded me that I really want a Nintendo Ring Fit. If anybody knows where I can get a Nintendo Ring Fit adventure, please let me know. GameStop reminded me of that. I'm so happy to have brought in all these folks from all around Oregon for the show today. I feel very lucky to have them. I wanted to close out by saying thanks to the Majestic Theater and the lovely Majestic Theater staff that helped put together this event, and all of you for watching. You can applaud yourselves at home. Please consider donating via the information in the Facebook chat to help support the performers you saw today. Emma, Max, Chris, Suggestions Only Improv. This is a real weird time for performers, and definitely appreciate your support there. I'll just leave time for one more round of applause, and I think Kira from the Majestic will close us out with some words.
That was Friday Night Funny. Again, thank you to all of our performers, and please remember to tip them with the information in the chat. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Woo!